Hi, welcome back to Sailing with Hank. In this episode, we're going to take place in the Flinders Islet race. So folks, this is Flinders Islet. It's down by Wollongong, and it's not much there. It's just a little bitty islet, but the race was named after that, and the goal of the race is to race from the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia down around Flinders Islet and all the way back to Sydney. And Flinders Islet itself, like I said, it's down by Wollongong and Port Kembla, and the ride down is just beautiful. You pass amazing towns of Coaldale, Austinmere, Thirroul, and then you get down to Wollongong and Flinders Islet. You do a lap around it, and then you're heading back up to the coast back to Sydney. Yeah, this was a Category 3 race. So not quite as intense as some of the other races, and pretty much keeping within sight of the shore the whole way down. And it is one beautiful ride there and back. As you can see way up on the north part of the screen, you have the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. That's in Sydney Harbour. You sail out of the harbour and out of the heads, and you turn south. And you just get into some really beautiful stuff right away. Kind of past Botany Bay there, which is a very large bay with some good fishing and part of the south part of the Sydney. And then, of course, you get down the coast and you get into really one of my favorite places. That's Royal National Park there. So for quite a ways as you're sailing down the coast, it's nothing but beautiful, kind of rainforest looking with large cliffs and beautiful coastline everywhere. Eventually you make it down to Stanwell Parks. If anyone's been down there, they jump off of it for paragliding, and it's just a beautiful scene. And just past that is a very iconic bridge called the Sea Cliff Bridge. Same thing, it's a great landmark as you're heading south. You could see it from the water. And then eventually you could see the little red dot there as Flinders Islet just past Wollongong. And most of the races, it's really fun. You know, it's very exciting in the morning. Everyone's running around, carrying sails, getting last minute things ready, talking about maybe the wind at the moment. And, you know, as you're walking down the dock to your boat, you can kind of look left and right. People are everywhere, a lot of commotion, and just a great time, really. A lot of times they'll have a sausage sizzle at the Cruising Yacht Club, and then everyone heads to their boat. And so we all met up on Chancellor and kind of said hi to everybody and got our things ready, started getting the lines ready. And, you know, these racing sailboats, it's not really like a cruising sailboat. On a cruising boat, you could just leave everything rigged up. Every time you want to get on the boat, you just kind of jump on. And a lot of the boats now have a roller furling main and jib, so it's very easy. Just roll the sail out a bit and start sailing. And it's not quite like that on a race boat. A lot of times you'll have two sets of lines to do a similar task, but maybe in racing you need to tweak the sail a certain way here or there. So there's multiple lines run everywhere. When you put the big spinnakers up, those big sails in the front, that's a whole nother set of lines that are run and a pole that goes out. So, you know, you can imagine there's a lot to get ready before the start of the race. And same thing, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. You know, everyone's charging down the line, and I thought we did a much better job this time. You know, we stayed with the pack and did a really good job of sailing with everyone and using the rules of the road to our advantage. And you can see here in a couple of the slides where the other boats around us get very close from time to time. You know, you have a boat that's just a meter away from you, and you're both going pretty fast and sometimes going over waves. So, you know, you're jockeying for position, everybody's working their way. And one of the first big bottlenecks was getting out of the harbor and making the turn out into the open ocean. Yeah, in this race, we had quite a different wind than the normal wind this time of year here, and it was blowing pretty hard out of the southwest. So you can see the arrows, the wind's kind of blowing up in that area. And then where I have the circle here is in between the north and the south heads, and that's the exit from Sydney Harbor out into the open ocean. And you know, this particular race, lesson learned, we got a little too close to the cliffs there where the circle is, and the wind really lightened up very close there. We got trapped in a little too close, and we had a few boats pass us, and I think we probably would have finished 3 or 4 more boats in the lead if we would have made it a little further out around. And just a little mental note for myself, next time we have these similar winds, you got to sail a little further around the heads. But every race, you learn a little bit more and you're prepared more for the next race. And the rest of the race was pretty uneventful. We had some nice winds, as you could see here, 20 plus knots of gusting wind and pretty steady on the beam down there and back. It was nice sailing, really. We had some times where we had some chop that was coming over to the front of the boat, but for the most part, we were just crushing it pretty much down the coast and back. And we did improve our time quite a bit from last year's race. So, hey, great day for Chancellor and a really fun race. Yeah, and although we made it in record time for our boat, Chancellor, we're much slower than the lead boats. There's a professional crew, and we're talking, sometimes $1 million boat out there racing against us. So, by the time we made it halfway down to Flinders Islet, some of the lead boats had already rounded Flinders Islet. They were already going back up, and it was a record-breaking race for everyone this season. All right, it's just after 10:45, and we've made it across the finish line. Made it from Sydney down to Flinders Islet and back, and I'm cold. It's hard to even talk at the moment. My hands are cold and my legs are cold, but we made it back, and I'll give you a little post after I get back and we get all the lines put away. Yeah, and at the end of the day, like I said, beautiful race, and with the Blue Water point scores, this leads up to the Sydney-Hobart race. And everyone got points for this one. Overall, 88 nautical miles. And look at that, over 2.5 hours off the previous record. So shout out to the URM group. They absolutely killed it in this race. They were so fast, smashed all the previous records, and just wonderful, wonderful race for the URM group. And as you can see here, it took us about twice as long to finish, just over 12 hours, 43 minutes, and 12 seconds to be exact. And, we got in pretty late there at night, and we're all really excited. Just to finish the race is one thing, so we're very happy about that. And then just as I was getting ready to put the video together, I looked at the final stats, and look at this. Not only did we finish, folks, Chancellor was not last, and we were really nowhere near last on this race. So, hey, look out. We're ready for Sydney to Hobart this year, and we're just getting better. We've got a couple more races coming up, and I'll have some more videos out here soon on the last races leading up to the Sydney to Hobart race and everything it takes to get ready for that race. Hey, once again, thanks so much for listening, folks. Have a great day, and fair winds and following seas to you all.